Optimized connectivity experience, or OCE, is based upon the principles found in 802.11 AI. It includes such things as optimized network discovery, optimized authentication, and link quality assessment. For functionality, both the client device and the access point involved have to support OCE. They tell each other that they support it through beacon frames from the access point and probe requests from the client station. Additionally, OCS tries to improve the airtime utilization in a network by reducing management traffic overhead. Let's take a look at how this is accomplished. Traditionally, a station that is probing and looking for an access point by the SSID instead of just passively searching for an AP will send out a broadcast probe request. Any AP on the same channel that is using that SSID and hears that request responds with a probe response saying, "I'm using that network, come and connect to me." And that's the way it's been done for years. If it's just one station at a time and not too many stations, it's not really a problem. It doesn't really create a significant amount of airtime utilization. However, if you have a lot of stations that are all trying to find access points and are all using active scanning, each sending out their own probe requests, every time an AP that hears that probe request on the same channel, obviously, is going to have to respond. So each of these stations will get a unicast probe response frame as an acknowledgement for the probe request. That adds a lot of management frame overhead from the traffic itself and the additional interframe spacing. OCE allows us to improve upon that by having the access point just send out a broadcast probe response. All of the stations that were trying to find an access point using that SSID and within hearing range of that access point would hear that broadcast probe response just like they would hear beacons. But this broadcast probe response would directly be an answer to their requests. Stations that are very close, there's not a big problem. But stations that are far away, if they're allowed to connect, they're going to be using the lowest possible data rates normally that they can select from their modulation and coding scheme tables based upon the low RSSI values. To discourage them from connecting, you can configure a threshold at which the access point must hear the client station in order to allow them to connect. If a client device is not audible by the access point with the signal strength equal to or greater than the configured level, that station will not be allowed to connect. They will get a negative association response and not be allowed to associate. Some client stations can take that negative association response frame and convert that into a pop-up message for the user, something they could try to understand. Obviously, this one is saying, unable to connect to the network, you need to move a little closer to connect. Some stations may not do that though. Either way, the station at distance has been stopped from connecting to the network and improved the quality of the experience for the devices that are already connected. So this is another way that optimized connectivity experience is going to make things better for devices within your service sets. Stations that are closer and obviously are going to be heard with a stronger signal strength will still be allowed to connect as they normally would. They'll get a positive association response and they will be allowed to connect.